In today's world, cities are no longer as livable as they once were, but rather more like concrete jungles with no definitive personality, filled with high rises that cause the loss of culture and environments designed specifically for commercial exchange. This kind of modernism and capitalism have together managed to destroy both the liveliness and historical value of the city itself. Citizens no longer feel a sense of ownership or belonging in urban environments and are increasingly choosing a suburban lifestyle. The place that one chooses to call home should reflect the lifestyle that they plan to live. The element of playability and exploration has been lost as cities have become more regimented and impersonal. Therefore, we want to provide quality of urban life, regional identity, and playfulness by reimagining the city as an extension of the individual's domestic realm through our urban interiority, Domesticity.
In order to create a proposal for a new urban interiority, firstly we defined our urban subjects to understand who we are designing for, what they need, and what their values are. The youthful is based on an individual that is a part of a traditional family unit who has recently moved into the city for study or work. Based on their personal experiences, they have always preferred the quality of life that the suburbs can offer. Therefore, moving to the city has been a huge change in environment and a cultural shock for them. They hope that the urban will be able to offer the same qualities that the suburbs provided and allowed them to be able to still do the things that they like, such as exploring, participation in social and cultural activities, and being a part of a homely neighborhood. In this diagram, we wanted to highlight the current qualities of the city with the black and white images, while incorporating our desires of what we want to add into the urban environment with the colored pictures. We also listed out key points on both aspects to understand our urban subject better. Once we defined our urban subjects, we moved on to analysing the City of Melbourne to understand the lifestyle, environmental factors, functionality, qualities, feelings, and values that the city has to offer. It is from this that we notice a few recurring gaps that can be altered and changed to produce a better outcome for the urban subjects of the city. Firstly, we want to focus more on the aspect of homeliness within the urban environment. The quality of life will influence where someone wants to live based on their perceptions and personal preferences. Individuals will choose a place where they feel is the closest to their definition of what a home is like, based on their own upbringing, past experiences, and what they need. Currently, the urban has projected an environment that is far more impersonal, grey, generic, and structured to cater just for the growing population of the residents within the city. This is therefore causing city dwellers to have the desire to move to the suburbs rather than wanting to stay in the city due to the qualities and lifestyles that the suburban life can offer, which the urban tends to lack. The city needs to provide the same qualities of life that are provided in the suburbs, such as familiarity, locality, homeliness, warmly, friendly, and have spacious environments. Alongside this, generating a livable neighborhood must also be evident within the city. It must be both easy and comfortable to carry out day-to-day life for various people, create a sense of home, and provide a welcoming environment which is often noticeable in the suburbs. Reducing general stress and anxiety is a major driver for considering a life outside of the city. In order to change this perception for individuals, cities must generate a new atmosphere, highlight different qualities, and rethink the values of the city. It is evident that a value that needs to be focused on more is culture, which is recognized as an integral part of people's personal lives and daily well-being. The city needs to be able to reflect culture and feel more like a familiar neighborhood which values and respects the different customs within the city in order to recreate and redefine the idea of what the urban home is. Local development and equity are also linked with acknowledging diversity in cultural heritage and values.
This brings us to our second point, which focuses on the lack of local culture in the city of Melbourne. The Global Task Force for Local and Regional Governments has been quoted as saying, "Without culture, there is no future for cities." Cities need vitality, meaning, identity, and innovation, and citizens need to widen their freedoms. In concurrence, we believe that all cities must possess a distinctive image and quality that has roots in the traditions and history of the city or region, by recognizing and memorializing historical events or actors that have had an impact on our life. We firmly believe that urban spaces must possess historical meaning and contribute to the narrative of the city. These spaces should have cultural relevance and resonance, both in design and in use, and they must reflect the individuals and communities that regularly interact with them. It is important for these spaces to acknowledge, respect, and celebrate various cultural groups and encourage them to coexist harmoniously. Urban spaces that do not explicitly consider cultural issues have negative impacts on the preservation of heritage. They also prevent the exercise of memory, creativity, and coexistence apart from promoting homogenization and limiting opportunities to access and participate in cultural life. Considerations for culture in urban planning are key in the success of sustainable development policies as drivers and enablers of development in people centered societies. A holistic and integrated approach to development needs to take creativity, heritage, knowledge, and diversity into account. Our goal is to create a welcoming, safe atmosphere for individuals and communities to feel a sense of ownership and belonging towards the city and express themselves without fear of discrimination. By encouraging participation in cultural experiences, the city can provide crucial platforms for the development of capabilities that expand self awareness, self expression, and well being. Artistic endeavors that spark open dialogue, foster connections with the local environment, and propel collective action while developing more sustainable living practices should be encouraged. Entrenching cultural, historical, or playful identities into urban areas creates an opportunity for learning, for strengthening people's connections with each other, and for spontaneous interaction between children and their caregivers.
Our final focal point for our urban interiority is the elements of playfulness. Play is commonly defined as specific zones of places like playground, but it shouldn't be just limited in playground or park. This element of playability can take place in many spaces and also be something that adults wish to take part in. Play fosters the inclusion of migrants, the involvement of older adults, and promote a better relationship between parents and children. It is an important motivation for breaking down the social barrier, which is essential for social well-being beyond our social circle. If we can build a successful city for children, we will have a successful city for everyone. The feeling of safety is fundamental while moving through the city, not only for children but also for their parents. We intend to explore a new layer of urban interiority to conceptualize a transformative urban infrastructure through play to restore children's freedom, play out in our city, and adults can feel like kids again. Urban play could increase social capital, reduce health problems and economic strain, and give children the opportunity to develop the skill to boost their education and fulfill their potential. Moreover, it can trigger the participation of civil society, engaging citizens and local associations. Play is not limited to recall childhood memories that encourage people to spend time with family. Moreover, it creates opportunity for children to grow in a healthy and memorable approach. In the 70s and 80s, childhood was such a paradise to see kids running around, and we want the current city able to bring kids back on the streets with such freedom and playfulness. Play should become something that is about entertainment, challenges, and reimages our way of being in the world. We will experience a broader range of creative expression and possibilities. Through our spatial and temporal catagraphy, we aim to understand how our urban subjects move through the city over time on weekdays and weekends. We believe that analyzing and understanding these flow patterns will help us identify frequent use areas and lack of quality areas we wish to highlight. This will further enable us to apply our ideas to potential spots where they will positively impact the quality of life within the city. On weekdays, we notice that people mainly shuttle between the suburb and the city for work or study. Therefore, transport not see the most traffic before and after work hours. Throughout the day, people are scattered around the city, mainly visiting commercial and social hotspots, but fewer people during the night due to the early closing hours of retail outlets. We also notice that people tend to spend less time in one location on weekdays owing to their busy schedule. In contrast, people tend to travel to the city at a more leisurely pace and later in the day to visit recreation spots on weekends. Due to a more relaxed schedule, people tend to linger in these places for longer than they would on weekdays. A diverse range of urban subjects belong to various age groups, visiting and interacting with the urban environment on weekends. In conclusion, our urban interiority domesticity aim to first, change the current lifestyle environment and function. Second, create an environment that provides a sense of familiarity and belongings. Third, design an identity that reflects the story of the city and its citizen. Fourth, encourage the notion of play and exploration rather than following the routines and rituals. And last, invite social connection, sharing experience, and gatherings. Perhaps this aim can create alternative realities for us that are not separate from the world but reshape the world we already live in. That's it. Thank you.